Welcome to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we are wrestling with a relationship that, for so many of us, is just the single biggest source of professional stress.
Oh, absolutely. The one with our direct manager.
Yeah. And if that thought of, a performance review or just an unexpected meeting request makes your stomach churn,
Yeah.
I have to say you are not alone. The data on this is,
Oh.
it's striking.
It really is. When organizations study why people walk away from their jobs, the results are consistently damning for management.
How so?
Well, one large survey we analyzed showed that a massive 79% of people who quit,
79%.
yeah, they cite a profound lack of appreciation as their main reason for leaving.
Think about that. Nearly 4 out of 5 people just don't feel seen. But here's the one that really got me. It just illustrates this breakdown of trust.
I think I know the one you're talking about.
Research showed that 58% of employees said they trust strangers more than they trust their own boss.
It's a staggering vote of no confidence, isn't it?
It is.
Which is why our mission today is so vital. We've synthesized a whole stack of analysis and organizational psychology research to give you the tactical knowledge you need.
To navigate these really difficult working relationships.
Exactly. Our goal is to equip you to quickly and, accurately distinguish between a boss who's just demanding.
The difficult ones who might still actually help your career.
Right. And a boss who is genuinely toxic, who is actively undermining your health and your success.
So we're going to cover the essential diagnosis, some concrete strategies for self-preservation, tactical communication.
That whole idea of managing up.
Right. And crucially, when to stop fighting and maybe deploy an escalation or even an exit strategy. This is your guide to high-pressure, low-trust environments.
Let's get into it.
Okay, so let's unpack this distinction first. The research is very clear that if you apply the wrong strategy to the wrong kind of manager, it will backfire.
It absolutely will. You have to know which category your boss falls into.
So let's start with the difficult one.
Okay. A difficult manager. They set incredibly high standards. They challenge your assumptions. They push you way outside your comfort zone.
So they might be intense. Maybe they lack a bit of a bedside manner.
Yeah, they can make work tough. But, and this is the key, their difficulty is directed at the improvement of the output.
We can call these people the hard pushers.
I like that.
They often have behaviors that, on the surface, they look negative, but they're really rooted in results. They're demanding, they work incredibly long hours themselves.
And they expect their team to do the same.
Exactly. They can be overly blunt or direct, even critical. But the criticism is specific. It's focused on the work.
They might also have that sink or swim approach. Very little support.
Which forces massive self-reliance.
Right. Or maybe they're just unorganized, constantly changing direction, or they just completely lack people skills. It requires resilience to work for them.
But if you succeed, you usually gain really marketable skills. You learn to articulate your own value.
For sure. Now, let's pivot to the other side.
The side that causes real harm. The toxic boss. These are the behaviors that negatively impact your health because the manager just does not have the team's interests at heart.
And we found a list of 10 traits in the literature that are just clear signals of genuine toxicity.
Okay.
And here's where it gets really interesting. The data suggests it only takes one of these destructive traits to generate significant, lasting damage across an entire team.
Just one.
Yeah.
You don't need all 10 to prove you have a problem.
None at all.
So what tops the list? What's number one?
One, they lack self-awareness. This
Yeah.
is foundational. They believe they are right about everything. They resist feedback, and they inhibit resonance.
Okay, inhibiting resonance. That sounds a little like management jargon. Can you unpack that? What does that actually mean for the person working for them?
It means they fail to establish any kind of constructive shared frequency with their team. They just can't.
Because they think they're always right.
Right. So they can't hear or understand the emotional state or the challenges of their own employees. It immediately lowers trust and just cripples communication.
I see.
And this flows directly into the second trait. They lack empathy. They just don't invest the time to build relationships or understand what the team is going through.
Okay, what's next?
Number 3, they are excessively motivated by self-interest. Everything is about them. They'll take credit for other people's work, or they might make these really risky, attention-grabbing strategic moves.
Like proposing some huge, unstable project in a meeting just to look good.
Exactly, just to look good to the executive team, often at the expense of stability for their own staff.
That's the one that always stings, isn't it? The credit theft. I remember reading about a marketing coordinator, Sarah, who developed this brilliant campaign idea.
Uh-huh.
And then She saw her boss present it in a leadership meeting, calling it my idea for the Q3 push.
And that happens all the time because their priority is their own ego, not the team's growth. Okay, let's continue with the list. Number 4. They demonstrate inconsistent behavior. So, unpredictable expectations, unclear communication,
And favoritism.
overt favoritism, or even discrimination. You just never know what version of the boss you're going to get.
Yeah.
5. They take advantage of power dynamics. They weaponize their authority. They expect unquestioning obedience. Do it because I said so is their only argument.
Number 6 has to be micromanagement.
It is. They micromanage. They simply don't trust or empower their staff. They insist on controlling every tiny little work process.
Or demanding to be CC'd on every single email.
Every single one. And that point is just so exhausting. It doesn't just show a lack of trust. It actively slows down the productivity of the entire team. They become the bottleneck.
Exactly. What's next?
7. They set unreasonable expectations. This looks like unachievable deadlines, vague goals that are always shifting,
And just excessive workloads.
fundamentally unsustainable workloads. Number 8. They actively belittle and demoralize.
This can be disguised as jokes, right?
Yes, jokes at others' expense, but it's really about control through humiliation. They'll also talk negatively behind people's backs, creating this culture of fear.
And number 9.
They seek to blame others. When errors happen, and they always do, they exonerate themselves instantly and they go to great lengths to find someone else to blame.
Even if they have to twist the facts to do it.
Absolutely. And finally, number 10.
Yeah.
They are overconfident about their knowledge. They routinely overestimate their own skills, refuse to acknowledge gaps in what they know.
And they reject any suggestion for self-development or training.
You got it.
That is a comprehensive list. It gives you a really clear diagnostic tool. If the manager's behaviors are consistently about self-preservation, blaming others, or creating fear, you are absolutely dealing with toxicity.
The problem with diagnosing it, though, is that simply knowing you have a bad boss isn't enough. You have to understand this goes way beyond job dissatisfaction. It affects your core health.
The consequences are severe. That chronic low-grade stress from a toxic environment, it leads to constant vigilance, increased fear, crushing anxiety. When you constantly feel undervalued or unfairly scrutinized, your confidence is just undermined, your emotional energy is depleted.
It's no wonder that research shows 1 in 4 employees actively dreads going to work.
1 in 4.
And the physical costs are even scarier. The literature strongly links working for toxic bosses to serious physiological issues.
No.
This isn't just feeling stressed.
Right.
We're talking about elevated cortisol levels leading to depression, high blood pressure, sleep disorders, anxiety, and in severe cases, well, symptoms that are like PTSD, even premature cellular aging.
It's a literal physical injury you get on the job. The combination of demanding expectations, no support, and zero appreciation is a guaranteed fast track to profound burnout.
So if you are stuck in that environment, the first step has to be radical self-preservation.
You have to prioritize your well-being.
And a critical technique is learning to recognize and separate your emotions from others.
That's especially important if you're, a more empathetic person. If you tend to absorb the stress or the unhappiness of your colleagues, you need active boundaries.
So that collective misery doesn't compromise your own mental health.
Yeah.
And you have to aggressively invest time and energy outside of work.
Hobbies, relationships, personal goals.
Anything. That external foundation is what allows you to maintain perspective. Work becomes just one part of your life, and that reduces the power the manager has over you.
Okay, so what specific actionable tools did the research suggest for managing that internal stress?
Well, expressive writing or journaling is highly effective. It sounds simple, but just dedicating a few minutes a day to write freely without editing.
About your emotions, maybe using a prompt like, "Today I felt."
Exactly. It is proven to reduce stress hormones, alleviate anxiety, and it brings greater focus and clarity to your situation. You're externalizing the pain.
And for those moments in real time, when you feel the anxiety or anger spiking,
For that, mindfulness and grounding techniques can stabilize you immediately.
like breathing exercises.
Absolutely. The research specifically highlights the 4-7-8 breathing exercise.
Okay, how does that work?
When you feel that tension building, you breathe in for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7 seconds, and then you slowly breathe out for 8 seconds.
4, 7, 8.
This simple, controlled practice activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and it calms your stress response right down, helping you maintain composure.
These self-care tactics are the foundation then. They give you the mental resilience you need for the next step, which is tactically engaging with the situation.
That's the perfect transition, because you can't successfully manage up if you're emotionally exhausted. And the data confirms managers influence 75% of job turnover.
So developing these managing up skills is essential.
For any career path, this isn't about manipulation, it's professional self-defense. It's strategic communication.
So let's start with strategies for dealing with a merely difficult boss, the hard pusher, the one who's challenging but not toxic.
Okay, 5 core strategies. 1, match their behavioral style. Observe if they're fast-paced, quick decision makers, or if they're deliberate and need a lot of detail. You adapt your communication to match them so the message actually lands.
Okay.
2, be a proactive communicator. Find their preferred channel email, quick drop-ins, detailed memos, and keep them updated. A boss should never be surprised.
Got it.
3, accommodate weaknesses.
Wait, I have to pause there. Accommodating a weakness, like helping an unorganized boss stay on top of things or starting meetings because they're always late, isn't that just enabling them? Forcing you to do their job?
That's a critical question, and it's all about boundaries and motive. You aren't enabling them if you're investing strategically.
How do you mean?
You frame your action not as doing their job, but as providing support that benefits your work. So if you help the disorganized boss, you say, I put together this tracking sheet so we can ensure we hit our shared deadlines. You are ensuring your success, not just sacrificing your time. It's a calculated investment.
That makes sense. It's moving from reactive complaining to proactive solution finding that serves your own self-interest.
Exactly. The final 2 are 4. Maintain performance and attitude. Don't fall into the trap of slacking off. Keep your performance high. Your work is your best currency.
And 5.
Handling a bully. Bullies get their power from fear, so don't react emotionally. Stand firm, ask calm, clarifying questions, and try to diffuse the situation.
Okay, that brings us to receiving criticism. If you're stressed, hearing negative feedback can trigger that fight or flight response.
Defensiveness.
Right. How do you handle that without shutting down?
You have to perform a massive mindset shift. View criticism, even if it's delivered poorly, as a gift.
A gift?
A gift of clarity or an opportunity for growth, or even just information about what they value. Acknowledge that imperfection is normal.
But if you genuinely disagree with the feedback?
You can't just internalize it. The research points to a structured approach, often linked to radical candor. Listen, challenge, commit.
Okay, walk me through those steps.
First, listen with the intent to understand, not to respond. That disables your defensiveness. Second, check your understanding. Repeat it back to them. So if I heard that right, you're suggesting X. Did I get that right?
And third.
Third, if you disagree or feel defensive, take your time. Ask for time to process. Thank you for the feedback. I need a day to review this and come back to you.
That pause is crucial. It stops you from reacting in the moment.
Absolutely. Fourth, find common ground, even if it's small. Fifth, discuss your disagreement respectfully, using calm language that focuses on impact and feelings, not accusations. And finally, commit to a course of action you can both agree on.
And the key to that respectful disagreement is framing the issue around the impact of their behavior on your work.
Yes. So instead of an accusation like, you don't value me, you shift the focus. You say, when I was passed over for the project, it made me feel undermined. I would appreciate it if you could give me feedback in private and help me understand what I can do better.
It's calm, factual, and solution-focused.
Exactly.
Okay, so finally, let's revisit the micromanager. We have a tactic for outsmarting them using if-then statements.
This is a masterful one. Micromanagers are driven by a fear of losing control. So to set a boundary, you have to use their own words about their heavy workload as the benefit statement for the boundary.
You're reframing your autonomy as a gift to them. So if they complain about being overwhelmed, you use that.
Yes. You reference their statement. Maybe they said, I wish I had more time for strategic planning.
Okay.
Then you reinforce the agreement with the if-then phrasing. John, if I leave that progress report on your desk by the end of the day, as we agreed, then do you think you could trust me to do my work without supervision? That way, you'll have more time for that strategic planning you mentioned.
It establishes a clear, measurable transaction of trust.
On both sides.
But despite all the tactical brilliance in the world, sometimes the toxic behavior is just too ingrained to manage.
Right. If it persists, you need to transition into a protective stance, and that starts with building your audit trail.
You have to collect factual evidence immediately. Keep detailed, dated records of interactions, assignments, inappropriate behavior. It has to be objective, not emotional.
And a great technique here is using follow-up emails for any verbal instructions.
Good one.
If your boss gives you an ambiguous instruction, send a quick email. Hi, Alex, just confirming what we discussed. My understanding is X, Y, and Z. Please confirm if that's correct.
It verifies the instruction and builds a record.
So when should you actually go to HR? The research highlights a pre-step. You should try the constructive dialogue first. Give the manager a chance to correct things.
But if that fails, or if it involves harassment, bullying, discrimination, illegal activity,
Or just a severe, measurable impact on your productivity and health.
it is time to escalate.
And when you go, logistics are key. Schedule time, don't just drop in, have a verbal conversation, and maintain your composure.
Present facts backed by evidence, documentation, or witnesses.
And avoid generalized remarks like, he's a terrible person. Stick to, on Tuesday the 14th, he sent this email at 10 p.m. demanding a redo by 8 a.m.
That focus on documentation makes all the difference, because you have to remember who HR works for.
You must manage your expectations. HR is primarily an advocate for the company. They manage risk.
Right.
So outcomes are varied. The manager might get training, they might face disciplinary action, or nothing might happen at all.
Especially if they're a high performer.
And be prepared for the risk that the manager, if they are untouchable, might hold a grudge.
So given that risk, actively seeking an exit strategy isn't just smart, it's necessary.
It really is. An internal transfer to a better department, or just looking outside the company. Since challenging toxic behavior can sometimes result in you, the messenger, being moved out.
Having a backup plan is crucial for your own sense of control and safety.
So this deep dive has armed you with several key tools. We've established how to diagnose a hard pusher versus a truly toxic presence.
The need for self-care, like expressive writing, and the 4-7-8 breath.
The importance of documentation and the tactical communication shifts you need to manage up successfully, including those if-then statements.
Knowing whether you're dealing with a demanding pusher or a genuinely destructive force really changes your entire professional playbook.
It does. Clarity is key.
So as you think about your next move, consider this final thought from the research. A manager who appears untouchable or well-regarded is likely doing a very good job of managing up themselves.
Which makes any complaint about them a significant political risk for you. You have to consider the pecking order.
How does your manager's standing in the organization impact your behavior? And how does that power dynamic inform your calculated risk when you're deciding whether to challenge things or just move on?
That calculation of risk versus reward is often the defining decision in a toxic environment.
It is. Until next time, we hope this deep dive provides you with the clarity and confidence you need to navigate the waters of the modern workplace successfully.